1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Lost in the Maze. These ones. It's kind of a cool animation we got there. Bitter Triumph just for 3. Makes sense. Just for everything. Just one stock up to rule them all. Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to be playing the Omniscience deck, but we're going to be doing it a bit differently where we get to kind of blow up all of our opponent's lands and all of their creatures. It's not kind of, we actually just do it. If you know what Spine of Ishah is, it kind of gives me a similar vibe to that. If you know what the KCI Infinite combo is, especially a lot of Commander players might know. But it all revolves around the battleship. Whenever this enters, destroy target non-creature permanent. That typically says non-land, you'll notice. So we can target lands. This enters and then it deals 4 damage to each creature. The same idea as before where we use 2 river regions. So we play one. We pick this up. We play it down. It does 4 damage to the first river region. But when we play the second one, picking up the original one, then we have a fresh 7 on that creature. And then we get to pick this back up, replaying it, blowing up another land. And other than that, we're going to be pretty efficient across the board using the 4 stock ups, 4 consults, and then we have the counter spells and the Lost in the Maze. We do get a really cool play with this card where we end up tapping 7 permanents with this, which is very cool. I think I'm going to end up showing it in the beginning, so you've probably already seen that because I do think it is a very awesome looking spectacle on Arena on how it looks. But we're all in on the combo. We are doing what we are doing. I do talk in the outro, so that's why you'll see this card here. A little bit more detail on that in the end. But with that said, we're going to go ahead and dive into the games and go play. Interesting hand. We have a lot of card draw, so we'll keep. You obviously have to find a couple of pieces, but if you are looking for cards, a double maul from our opponent obviously helps. But we'll see if they're aggro. It could still definitely be a problem. But if we're looking for a card, we have the hand to do it. I mean, we have rolling into stock up into consult. Oh boy, everybody's favorite Magic the Gathering deck. As I'm playing Omniscience, the formerly demanded to be banned deck, which I definitely understand. But I mean, is it back on top? No. Oh, Simic. Wait a minute. Everybody pause. Everybody freeze. We may have overreacted. And now, you can calm down a little bit. You hold up the counterspell, of course, to hit this. Is it Drain? I always want to say Draineth. That's not right. How do these actually look? These are actually really sick. The only one I weirdly don't like, which I found to be weird, is I didn't actually like the island. Normally, island, I'm always like, the island's the best one. I always feel pretty confident that. Maybe we should have answered the creature that's a 2/3 naturally, but Storm Chaser's constantly getting picked up and bounced, I felt like was worse. And now I think it's just hold up counterspell, hit something important, if not cycle the Regent. Or maybe we just consult. We have the Kona, we're kind of ready. Kona into just River Regent's not that bad, so honestly I guess we should prioritize this then. Will tell us if they have counter. They let that resolve. We do have a Cavern. Goes both. So we take Cavern and we take River Regent here. So what do we want to do? We have unauthorized exit, which is great, and a counter spell. Beast, Dragon. Let's stock up here and give them a reason to counter something. Maybe they have a Tidebinder. Entity Tracker, okay. So we want to take one of these lands, which we can play next turn after we play the Cavern on Beast. And then we want to take Assault here on Beast. And then we can, this is a cast, they can draw quite a bit, but that means they're tapping out, which obviously helps us out a ton. When draw a card for each shrine you control whenever another shrine, that we kind of just let go, right? Could have bounced the tracker in response, but a little draw 2 here is not really going to, I think, make or break us. Okay. Interesting enough. Interesting enough. About all we needed to see. Then we get pretty much everything we want. Maybe bouncing. I thought this was a cast for something for some reason. But we go here. We go here. We activate here. Station here. Go to second main. Put in an omniscience. Go to a... We're just going to go double River Regent here. Put everything back in their hand. And then hold up a counter spell. So we get there. Very cool. And we get to kind of do it in the way faster way. But right now, honestly, a lot of people are just going to concede to the combo because they don't want to sit there through it. And I totally understand that. So we'll take the win and move on. Oh, with the opponent going first and our hand being weird. It's a bit tough, to say the least. But we have every piece, so I feel like maybe we're okay. Maybe we're not. Could just be blue-black. Obviously, that'll help out a ton if we can kind of get to it here. Foreshadowing what we're playing. Are they mono blue? Can't imagine so, right? Shuffler's fine. Nobody worry. We're going to try to stick this on instep, of course. Could have done it while they were shields down, but I think it's okay. Try to jam here. Have the cavern to make sure our Kona's uncounterable anyway, so it's not like that's going to stop us really. Stun everything. You could have a tide binder, which obviously can cause some problems, but holding it up here is a little weird. I had to say so myself, but thankfully, as for this moment alone, fine. They're highlighting their maps. Those are sorcery speed. Okay. Feels like a weird card to bounce, right? Is casting blue spells in ranked? I feel like that flood maul doesn't make a ton of sense. Here. Okay. This has to be a tide minder, and I really won't be told otherwise. Okay. We have the loop, weirdly enough. Next. It ain't gonna be around much longer to do anything about it. Fun. And so basically, it's gonna deal 4 damage to everything, removing everything. We're gonna play Big Boy. We're gonna play this back down. So what we do is we play River Regent. Pick this back up, we replay it, and then it blows up another thing. We play this, picking up the other River Regent, and then this again, and then these will actually live. And then we just kind of do it, blow up all their lands, and then we just have 2 6/7s. Sorry, the video like crashed for some reason, so we're here now. I'm just gonna play another one of these, and we're in. Fortunately, it looks like blue-black board wipes, which is awesome because typically means our opponent just kind of sits there and does nothing for us, at least, unless they vendetta us. I guess they could do that here. We hit a land naturally, do go ahead. End the turn. What do you want to do? What do you want to do today, Mr. Blue-Black Control? Doesn't mean we have to find a lot of pieces against them. Bro, what are we at? What are we doing? Counter target spell. Counter. Alright, dude. Sure. You don't seem like you're very worthy here. We're just going to hold up our counter spell to just kind of stop some stuff from interacting. All too well. Might go for a River Regent next turn, even if we miss the land. Sure. Rip a Kona. We are able to play it and go for it, but most likely they have removal. So, I'm just going to pass here. I am going for the River Regent on their end step. Obviously, I'd love to interact with that, but I'm going to stick to my game plan to go for River Regent here. See if they mill me out. I hope that's what they go for. Sometimes I feel like they have to. 6 mana. It's weird because it feels like it gives us way more leeway to like do stuff. But I'm just going to press the River Regent and see if it gets countered or not. They already played a land this turn. I doubt they go for anything too risky here. They probably just have like a 3 steps ahead. Or like a removal spell of some kind. Bit weird. See a stick here. Really just want to hit a couple of lands where we can play this and protect it. If they counter this, then by all means, deal. Fantastic. So we want to hold this land so we have pitch cards that aren't important. So we play a Kona. Maybe they don't have removal in their hand, so they just didn't feel like they could. We'll go Omniscience. We'll play Dragonstorm here. We could draw 2. This card here. And now it's what? Do we do this for a draw 3 or do we play this? I think I want to play it because it does shuffle it away. Obviously, it can't return itself, or this combo would be way easier. This is also a draw 4 instead of a draw 3. Well. We find any good cards. Thankfully, we finally do. Let's play this down. Now we have an infinite draw loop here, but I'm hoping to just find it with stock up. Unfortunately, we miss. But we'll play the second here. This will all be picked up. We play, and now we just go for the kind of thing that blows up their stuff. Want to look one deeper. We don't find it. Here. 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 We're trying our best, bro. This is the worst part of the combo. I want to show it at least once to kind of demonstrate what we're doing, but got to find it. I'm gonna tapped out. There we go. Blow that up. And it seems like we're gonna run out of stuff, but we actually just don't. Target here and then here. Or we're gonna blow up our own stuff, but it just doesn't work out that way. Go here, pick this off. Reminds me of doing like KCI combos and Commander, which is always exciting for me. As most people know, at least that I play Commander with, that I'm a big artifact guy and I love doing the KCI combo. So getting to kind of do that in a standard format like this is pretty exciting. A lot of ways to do that. Hold on to this, and then we just hit them for a couple of turns, which is kind of funny, but it is what it is. Then I just play another Omniscience, because why not? Then we'll just go ahead and pass. Discard one of these. Then we'll hit them for 2 turns. And we'll call it a day. One. bet. And again, it doesn't really matter on this because we have a way to pick it up. We can do that in speed if we really wanted to. But unfortunately, there's no more that needs done. Hexproof, attack, hit them for lethal. Very cool. Long-winded way to do it, but I honestly think it's somehow faster than... Like, once people realize you blow up all their stuff, a lot of times they end up leaving, but our opponent makes us do it, see if we mess it up. But we, fortunately enough, can do it. So, it's very cool. A way to tap it, way to protect it, way to draw some cards. All seems good to me. Bada bing, bada boom. And disruption does affect us quite a bit. Obviously, feels like the same match we may or may not have just been in. So we'll see, I guess. Sure. Get a loss in the maze down. We don't have a cavern though, and they do have a demo field. So even if we rip a cavern, we don't want to play it until we're assured that it'll stay around and survive. Oh. Also don't know why I said that the way I did, but it is what it is. So cavern, we don't have a counter spell, and we don't have the means of finding one right now anyway, so, or finding an omniscience right now anyway, so I might as well keep the cavern spell. Cavern spell. Holy boys, we are chalked for the time being. I'll just pass. I feel like we're going to end up running into a demo field on this, but I would like for them to try to counter something. Which is like perfectly fine. Because the thing is, if we put Kona on the stack, they could also do it then. An action. Find a basic. We have two more. That is something we do have to note. I will barrel this. Cavern as of this present moment is safe. We'll discard. So we have one more basic. Thankfully, we wrote that down in the memory jar. Cavern, we could play it out to maybe walk them into using another board wipe. Not a board wipe, another demo field. Dragon Storm. I think it's almost worth it, by the way. Unauthorized exits, probably not it. This end named Beast. And now they have another reason to find a demo field and use it. So it might cost them a card on a stock up pile or something like that. Or maybe they want another piece of interaction, but they have to settle for something else. Just a pass here. This is the huge card right now. We're just in digging territory. They just passed again. I have two counter spells. We're obviously looking for omniscience. Putting in a vulnerable creature against a matchup where they're going to have tons of removal. This does not seem very cash money. For the discard, we're going to go ahead and jam. Do have a counter spell. Can't reveal that. We find a stock up. We do find another one of these, so we get rid of Breeding Pool. We have 6 mana, so a land entering tapped or untapped doesn't really break the bank at all. Except, weirdly enough, next turn it would. But we're just going to name Beast multiple times. Aetherize, which is okay. Now I kind of just want to barrel this. But we'll still end up losing a card here. Interesting situation to be in. I don't really want to put Kona in there because that puts it vulnerable to a deadly cover-up. Sure, I guess. Maybe Cavern's fine to let go. They're obviously going to get rid of this, I think. Yeah, we already went to that second main, so it's a bit of a weird spot to be in. It gave me reason to counter, so now I don't have to discard the hand size, which might be nice, because I don't really want to. We get to pick that off. We limit their looks, and we can still do this on their end step. basic swamp played, and my opponent just moves on. Okay. Unlike the last one, we don't have a Kona here, but we have the Omniscience, and we just need to draw a land, and we have 2 counter spells to protect ourselves. Heals, okay. What are those? Ice sleeves? That with the bundle? Because that's Vivian from the bundle. Huh, that's kind of cool. I think I go for it now. We hit 1. Lost in the Maze is good. I think we just get rid of a counterspell here, unfortunately. Only real downside of this sometimes. Obviously, we don't want to throw Omniscience or the River Regent in there. Sure. We'll see you later, big dog. We will see you later. Unless they take stock up. Stock up would make sense as well. It seems like Orzhov bats if I had to put a guess on it. And removal is going to be a big key in this matchup. So I think maybe next turn, we, instead of prioritizing stock up, we prioritize Lost in the Maze. Maybe tap down a Deep Cavern Bat and stun it if they have a creature like the bat that gets larger with life gained. They took my counter spell? Not the counter spell. I still think I'm going to kind of result in doing this. I think my counter spell is weird. Especially whenever my thing has hexproof. Great example of a card that will get life here, but fortunately enough, we get to stun this Deep Cavern Bat for a turn. So now they had to find another way to gain life, which is huge. I think, as weird as this sounds, I think it's just Island and then River Regent here instead of stock up, because that puts it vulnerable to another Deep Cavern Bat. If they play a second Deep Cavern Bat and take my stuff, then sure, they got it, you know? Like it is the way of the land. And if I never end up drawing one, I do have the green, but if I never end up drawing the card, Kona, then I never draw Kona and I just lose. Like, it is what it is. I have about a turn, I think. I'm going to take 3 here. Obviously, if we just hit it, feel pretty good. Unauthorized X is pretty good. The land is not really needed. At least it doesn't feel needed. Maybe it's this land that doesn't feel needed, actually. Second unauthorized X, it's actually massive here. That's 2 surveils that we get. But is it not better to stock up and then bounce stuff? Not sure. This could just get too damaging, and we just have to kind of play around that. So let's play this tapped and then pass. And if it's a turn that we can survive, then maybe we do this. But getting to set them back quite a bit while also getting to, like, we don't technically draw 3 off these double surveils, but we kind of do, right? So have you put that back in your hand if you would ever so please. No Shelter by Ghost in my elo. Let that go. Again, we're all on kind of the Kona train right now. That comes back down, which is kind of fine. It'll gain a life off this. It obviously sucks. But I am going to put it back in their hand on the end step. And maybe even a land here we end up keeping because we just get to play the River Regent. I believe they played a land already. I could be mistaken, but yeah, they definitely did. Put that back in your hand. So, I guess it's the play a big dragon turn, I believe. That back in their hand. Put the Deep Cavern Bat back in their hand. There could have been an argument made to pick this up because then we would have stunned all 3. It's actually probably a better idea. Unfortunately, we didn't do that. I think I'm going to give up on the cavern. I'm just digging for Kona here. Another unauthorized exit. We stock up. Find the Kona. find another stock up, and now we just have to survive. Means like we do essentially nothing besides bounce the Deep Cavern Bat that takes Arcana, if there's one in this hand to be had. Obviously a counterspell is what they'd be afraid of, but thankfully with a River Regent in this, we should be fine. Chandler, come in. And with this bounce, even if we don't want to use it here, we can then use it to pick up like our River Regent again and kind of help do the cycle. There's going to be quite a bit of damage. Again, the removal don't matter. It's all about bouncing the second Deep Cavern Bat. They play one, and we just hold this, I think. No real need to do it now. Gonna. Not a card I can think of that's stopping me right now. As hexproof thanks to the Lost. Yeah, Shieldred's Edict does not exist anymore, unfortunately. I do think bouncing at Lost in the Maze was the better play. Although this would then be reset, but really we didn't reset them at all. I mean, it did the same thing. It would be a little larger, I guess. But then this unauthorized exit was just much more damaging. They know I have Omniscience. They don't know the rest of my hand, but it's not 100% safe to assume I have it. But we know from obviously being able to see my hand that a stock up's really good. The extra cards is also really good. And it's just going to be hard to miss, but thankfully we get it. We'd end up removing their entire board. We'd end up blowing up all their lands and then just have a good time from there and win. So with that, we move on. Oh boy. Being on the play means we could probably keep this. On the draw, it'd probably be unkeepable. But it's also weird. I say that, but then I snap keep it because I'm an idiot. But it's just that weird thing where we have 2 lands that are tapped. Stock up that can buy us back in. 2 Omniscience in case they duress me. Man, I remember when these Phyrexian lands came out. And Jumpstart, they were like all the rays, but then everybody was like, but where's the rest? And they're like, what do you mean by that? They're like, where are the other ones at, brother? Like, what? This does non-land permanent. The little part of me just thinks it's kind of double stock up, right? Just jam our card. Our opponent's going to do the thing. They're going to play a 4-mana card. An Ouroboros. And their curve that couldn't be any better. Going to maybe fumble to our turn 4 play. Or a miss land here. Or not a miss land. Not a bad turn 4. Not a good turn 4. A card that it will be 1 turn. 1 turn too late. If they had that card, they in theory could blow us out. But unfortunately for them, it would just not be enough with double Omniscience. Because anytime you have 2 Omniscience, you should start with 1. And then automatically play another one. Just so if they do blow it up mid this resolving, then you have another one on the stack. And then you obviously kind of keep them from being able to answer both. But I have a weird feeling that our opponent is now gone. And they will not be here. And unfortunately, the way that this will work is I'll still have to do the entire loop. And go from there. The other thing is, we could still miss. They could come back and be their turn. It won't matter, but it is what it is. So, we'll wait. All right. Well, they timed out. So, we get unrestricted gameplay from here. Okay. Well, that should be able to find some. All right. Well, if we can't find it, we will find it eventually. You would at least think so. It is kind of nice that it instantly resolves, which is sweet. So we take this, and I guess, I don't know, Lost in the Maze. Here. Just need one good one. That's a good one. Now need other good cards. That's a good one. If this finds other river regent, though, this would be insane. All right. All right. Fair enough. Well, go here. And it is going to be a situation where we will be passing, which is quite funny. But won't necessarily matter too much. Just go here. Pick this up. Do a little surveil action. Get rid of a land. Play this. Off their land. I mean, to be fair, not great. And I think we're just supposed to answer the last land. I could be wrong about this. And then we go here. This. Then play Lost in the Maze. This. Tap here. And pass. Unfortunately. As we probably knew it would happen. After I said it's basically over. We fully airballed. That's okay. But it is what it is. It ain't gonna get better. All 4 are in here. 3 of these. The thing is, my opponent already left. And it doesn't matter. If they're not here to defend themselves. Okay. 3rd time's the charm. Thankfully, we don't have to play this game out. Because we literally are holding 3 lands that do nothing. So, thankfully, they left. But with that said, we'll move on and try to get to Diamond 3, I guess. Alright, going first here. No Kona, no Omniscience. But, like, a hand that really does protect itself well. And a Cavern to make sure if we do rip the Kona, we're uncounterable. So, we'll go ahead and keep here. Although, Aang, Appa, off. Our opponent is doing some stuff. I do want to go ahead and do this and play Name Beast just in case there's like a thing that I want to counter on turn 2. But things like Badger Mole Cub and stuff like that, turn 2s have just become so good. Like this is actually great for us because we did this. Now we actually get to set them back a turn. They get no loots. We're going to pass on the lands. We just don't need them right now. Need cards that win our video game. And then, honestly, we just stick to the same play. If they can't mill anything, then they can't do anything. And then this will come in for Dragon, I guess. They play the Bookworm again. We're really happy about it because we get another bounce effect. And it sets them even further back. A little part of me wants to just use the counter spell to slow them down. Maybe they're holding a Bitter Triumph because maybe they're afraid of the card happening. Here we just shock and we just pass. We're looking to do Consult the star charts, which obviously a good chance it misses. Or maybe this is the opportunity to just bounce this guy. I guess we kind of have to let this resolve, which is weird. Sure. Should I go for Consult here then? Probably. Arden's strong. I assume this is Bitter Triumph. No real other reason to think otherwise, I think. We have one more land. Let's take the counter spell. We hit another land, which is pretty nice. Keep our green mana. Do this. Obviously no Kona for us, so we're still on the go find it train. Found it. Now we just need one more piece. Cavern not going to be necessary, I think, here. Go here. And as long as we can kind of hold for a turn, we can use this to tap this if we want. Although I don't know if that necessarily matters. They bring back an Arden. So what? We accept that. Overlord. Definitely a bit worse. Definitely can't counter. So. I wonder what they're grabbing. Nice. Pretty good play so far. 2 happens. Obviously, just don't want to let anything up. Bitter Triumph again is a card I think they're holding. We'll let the Bookworm resolve first. Here's a bringer. This. And I think Bitter Triumph's the card. We find ourselves in a weird spot though. Because even if I rip Omniscience, what does it do? Pretty much nothing. Well, now we can kind of do some things. Maybe. Go on this turn, hold up to priority. Probably looting here. I don't really want to play this. I could play Kona, tap it, put this in, hold up a counter spell. But then I just kind of lose it all. But if they play Cavern, then I bounce Arden. My River Regent goes to the graveyard. Am I that upset about that? No. Because that means the next time they do it. Because the bringer on its own is not that impressive, I guess. But I think we just pass through this turn. We just kind of see what's up. But if they go Cavern, jam it, then obviously we have to figure it out. Although we could do it where we actually River Regent tuck the Kona. Well, let's do this. Reveal here. Now they have to pay 4. So obviously that stops that plan. Bitter Triumph, still the card, I believe. But unfortunately for them, it just does not matter. Let Bookworm resolve. Second bringer. Now we do River Regent. This is to find, obviously, Omniscience and other cards that matter. Speaking of other cards that don't matter. Rid of that one. What to do here? We don't have a dragon to defend the second go around. So dragon here. Play Kona. Who knows? Maybe they'll just pick it up and move on. Maybe they have the card that answers our Omniscience. These are all wonderful tales that could happen. Then unfortunately, we'll pass. Sometimes you just have to... Obviously, like, our opponent has stuff. Don't really have a great way to do much. Did see in one of the matchups the 2-mana green card being played. Sometimes they play the in-web card. I don't know what it's called, but it's like a blue 1-mana counter instant. Things like that. We let that happen. Again, you know what they're going to pick up here. Oh, well, that card would matter, huh? They leave it all. Oh. Sure. Huh? Don't need it. Don't need another Kona. I can promise you that. Right now, we do not need another Kona. We have to feel like stock up gets it done, but... Or even a consult, because then we're looking at the top 7 cards and maybe finding pieces. Everybody pause. It's not scripted, I swear. All right. This. Remember when I said it wasn't scripted? I meant that. I meant it. I meant it. Okay. Okay. Well. 4. Why not? Which one of these? That one. I have chosen. Here. I'm gonna have the biggest lost in the maze I've ever had. And the worst part of it all might not matter. What to do? What to do? I just don't know. I just don't know. But here's the thing. I can do 2 turns. As long as Terror of the Peaks doesn't enter the chat. Are we lucky? Are we unlucky? Are we fortunate? Are we unfortunate? We are unlucky as all can be. Okay. Sure. Oh, we have so many. I mean, we have 6 of them. Wait, hold on. We're 30 cards deep. We're 31 cards deep. 1 stock up. 1 consult. Okay. I just needed to make sure it was clear that we're in a little bit of a pickle here. The number of card types. Okay. I have so much. I have so much. And we just need it to not be Terror of the Peaks. Isn't that crazy? That's what we need. For it to not be Terror. Actually, we have more than 6 draws because any of our big dragon does it too, probably, right? Because we just play it and then we draw another 6. But 29 cards left and we haven't quite hit it is a bit whack. I have an Omniscience in play that I could now, I think, cast. 5. No, we're a little short. Yeah. That will do it. They have the no. They know, I think. Maybe they know. I have no idea. What cards they have? They have 32 cards. I'm literally deeper in my deck than them. Isn't that crazy? Ah, brutal. Sure. Sure. Huh. Yep. Dude, we are down for the count, that's for sure. I mean, I'm 28 cards deep. If I don't even have a second Omniscience. So at least in my bottom pile there are 3 Omniscience, which we'll get to put into play immediately. I didn't. I wasn't paying attention. So tough. Thankfully, I don't die for that, but I mean, I might as well just have died for that. That's crazy. Sure. They also haven't hit a Terror in their 24 cards deep, to be fair. They get to bring back 2 Konos and sack 1. This hurts. Sure. Here. Weird. What a weird play. Maybe they're still just digging for Terror of the Peaks. Maybe they only have like 1. Which would like kind of make sense. Don't worry, I have plenty of Lost in the Maze. Oh, I guess it targeted them all for me. I was like getting ready to click and it just did it for me. Nice. All the lands in the world just end up one short of casting Omniscience. But at this point, I have to wait, right? There's like another copy of this, right? Just get me. 1, 2. They definitely play 3 of them. Uh-huh. Sure. All out. Yep. I have a lot of mana. But maybe not a lot to do with it, you know? Sure. 4, 5, 6. Obviously going to be a card. Maybe it's a Overlord. That's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Would have thought. Lost in the Maze. I have 3 forms of hexproof. If you would believe it. These ones. These ones right here. This is all for 1 point on the ladder, by the way. This is what it's like playing like controllers, how it can feel a lot of times. It's kind of a cool animation we got there. Bitter Triumph just for 3. Makes sense. Sure. Would you like to put that into play? Obviously, we have enough for Omniscience. Can we draw something of relevance that allows us to win this game? Actually did. They did put it in. And there's a Maelstrom Pulse, which is an interesting play. Uh-huh. Well, team, this is for glory. This is for everything. Just one stock up to rule them all. Stock up, consult the star charts. I haven't played a land yet, so let's do stock up first, just in case it's bad. This should be automatic. With 22 cards looking at the top 18. Should be enough to find a second River Regent, considering the rest of our deck is whatever. Alright. We are going to get there. It took everything in our willpower here to do it. And I could pick Kona back up, which is nice. Weirdly enough. That's hexproof, but only from my opponent. Pick all those up. Put this into play. Pop everything. Pop the cavern. Well, maybe not pop everything, but pop close to everything. Play one of these. The game is going to be running a little bit slow because of how this works. And how much kind of things are taking damage. How many things gotta go to the graveyard or their graveyard triggers, etc., etc. But should run a little bit better. Although the information known everywhere, 40 cards in that yard is a bit. We're going to do this and blow up every land. fine. We're going to get there. Wow. 1 point. The lost. So it's weird because, like, on one hand, obviously we took damage on that one turn. I wasn't really paying attention. I was kind of just. One of the hard parts of commentating and, like, talking over the game is you just, like, kind of get in a train of thought. And sometimes when I get in a train of thought, I just, like, lock in on something. Oftentimes it's dog meat on screen, which is quite funny. And I just looked there and it just was like, is that okay? And I was like, yep. And they went to combat and attacked me. And I was like, oh, that was the question they were asking. But yeah, I mean, no terror. We survive. This technically saved us. But at the same time, if this was like a consult to star charts, I felt fine. But one stock up hit every other card in the deck because it was all here. It was literally all in the deck. It was all there. We were just ready for it. So we end up getting there. We end up blowing up all their lands, and we get there regardless for a good climb. So we'll take it. Okay, so here we are with the deck, and it just does what it does, and it's kind of a nice way to win against a lot of the decks that are being played currently right now. For example, I do think against the Lessons decks, if you can kind of dodge, it'll quench you, which obviously, you know, Cavern of Souls will help with. The bounce spell is sorcery speed, so they can't really interact with your Omniscience, and you just get to kind of run crazy on those turns. Maybe they quench the stock up that you do for 0, but hopefully with that, you're fine. Obviously, we saw in a couple of these games where it did end up mattering. But the main problem is if our opponent blew this up, how do we win? Is there a card we can play? Turn up to 1 target permanent card from your graveyard or your hand, create a clue. So this could be played. This should be maybe a sideboard card. So getting a card does not have to be much. And the problem is just a permanent. I don't think I put permanent card, return up to 1 target creature card. I'm curious if there is just like a card that's reasonable to play. Return target creature and land from the graveyard. Not really. I think it's all permanents, which is like okay, but sometimes in weird spots we would like to be able to sometimes we would like to be able to return like a stock up to our hand or something like that. Maybe return target card from your graveyard or your hand. I forgot this card existed. Maybe we need to play a copy of this in our deck. It's definitely return target card from your graveyard or your hand. That's definitely the best. I don't even know why we have that. So maybe this is a card that we need to consider. Although I want to read Toph. What do you say? Enter, discard a card and return it into a source of graveyard hand. Whenever you cast a spell, Earthbend 1. If the spell is a lesson, put an additional 1 counter. Okay. Not what I thought. I thought it Earthbended equal to how big the spell was. So whenever we cast a spell, we could technically Earthbend up to 1 land. I mean, technically you can do that anyway. Because Earthbend 1, you can Earthbend the same land over and over again. So if you wanted to play something like Toph and maybe play Teamer, you could if you really wanted to. That's just really consistent. So I'd be a little careful of doing that. But I would definitely bring in one of these. Because in a spot where your opponent blows this up, it's a little bit worrisome. In a spot where, you know, we stock up, this just gives us one more hit to have to then pick up the stock up and replay it. Obviously, a card like Rest in Peace can be a problem. But we should be able to beat that deck outside that means. The other thing is, you know, whenever we're discarding to like a River Regent, then maybe we want to pick that card back up later. Oftentimes, if we get hit with a deadly cover-up, where then maybe they've duressed our Kona and they put it in the graveyard and they try to deadly cover up to exile them, we might be able to return it back to our hand. But again, Kona is that weird card that it's only necessary because you have to do Omniscience so early, where if we can grind into the late game, maybe we can just jam an Omniscience and it resolve. But that's pretty hard when you don't play any relevant spells. So I would probably be playing this in the future. What to actually cut is a bit weird. Maybe it's 1 exit, although that feels wrong. Maybe it's 1 lost in the maze. So I could definitely seeing that being it. But having lost in the maze in all those games has felt awesome. So it's a bit weird. It's a bit awkward. So with that said, I hope you all enjoyed. The deck is great. I don't know if there's much more I can say about the deck that you didn't really watch from the video if you stuck around this long. I know Omniscience can seem cringe, but hey, is it lessons? I didn't play it once, and I'll just keep it that way. I'm cool with it. The lessons deck and is it whack decks? I'm good on. This deck is cringe, but a little bit harder to do than it was previously. I just think a lot of people obviously have a big kind of negative correlation with this deck based on what it was, not what it is now, where it is kind of much less efficient than whereas before with all the other stuff. It was really, really good, and it was just like unstoppable to do. But with that said, I hope you all enjoy, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.